Hi everyone, this is WWD 10 and you are most welcome for it. Today we want to talk about the mode in Excel and we are focusing on how we can get the mode for numerical data. And most importantly, we are going to learn how we can display all the modes if the dataset is having more than one mode. Like for example, I have this POPS Pocket Money example here. We can see this dataset is having two modes. The $20 is appearing 2 times and the $15 is also appearing 2 times. That makes the $20 and the $15 the mode of this dataset. Now we are going to see how we can display all the modes vertically or in rows like this one. How we can display it on a single cell like the way we have displayed it on this second example here using our favorite delimiter. Like for our case here we have separated it using comma. And we are going to see how we can display it horizontally or across columns like we have displayed it down here. And this is actually very dynamic. Like for example, I have this $14 here. If I decide to come here and then click, then instead of $16, I'm going to change it to $14 so that we have the third mode. Immediately I hit enter. You can see our dataset is now having 3 modes and all the 3 modes are now displayed here, vertically, in a single cell or horizontally. So I'm going to Control Z to undo that. So we are going to learn the techniques that can help us display our modes in different styles like the way we have seen it there. Let's switch on to Excel and we dive deeper into how we can get the modes for numerical data. So mode is also one of the measures of central tendency. It is the most frequent value of values in our dataset. A dataset can have no mode, that's when there is no any value repeating itself, or have more than one mode. Mode is mostly used for non-numerical data or if you want a value which is part of your dataset. Let's scroll down and we see our first example. So I'm going to scroll down. Now I have the hotel room prices per night example here again. Here are the rooms and here are the prices. We want to first calculate the mean, the median, and then the modes so that we can compare those measures of central tendency. So let's start by calculating the mean. So I'm going to click on this cell and do equals to. The function that's used to calculate the mean is called average. When I see it highlighted, I'm going to hit tab to select it. This average function actually calculates the arithmetic mean. I simply need to highlight my values like this. And when I hit enter, you can see the mean or the average room price is $110. Let's also calculate the median. So I'm going to do equals to. There's also a median function. We talked a lot about it last video. I'm going to hit tab to select it. You simply need to highlight your values also. And when I hit enter, you can see also the median room price is $106. Now it's time to calculate the mode. Now in Excel, there are actually 2 functions that's used to calculate the mode. We have the mode.sngl, which stands for mode.sngl, and we have the mode.mult, which stands for mode.multiple. Now there's also the mode function that has been around for many years. That one is actually for compatibility mode now. From 2010 and later, mode.singular and mode.multiple was actually released to replace the mode function. Now, the mode function and the mode.singular function actually works the same way. Let's see how they work. Let's start by the mode. So I'm going to click on this cell and do equals to MODE for mode. You can see the 3 functions are here, mode.multiple, mode.singular, and then the mode function. So let's down arrow to select the mode. I'm going to hit tab to select it. You can simply highlight your values like this. And when you hit enter, you can see the mode is $150. Now the mode.singular also works the same way as the mode. Let's see also, I'm going to click on this cell and do equals to MODE, down arrow to select the mode.singular, tab to select it. I'm simply going to highlight my values like this. And when I hit enter, you can see we are getting the same mode. Now, the difference between the mode.singular and the mode.multiple is that if a dataset is having more than one mode, the mode.singular and the mode function will only get for you the first mode it bumped on, and it will not display for you the rest of the mode. But for mode.multiple, it gives you all the mode in the dataset. So if the dataset is having 2 modes, mode.multiple will display for you all those 2 modes. And if the dataset is having 3 modes, mode.multiple will display for you all the 3 modes. So that's the difference between mode.singular and mode.multiple. I always just use the mode.multiple function when I'm getting the mode. So let's click on this cell. I'm going to do equals to mode.multiple. Tab to select it. Now, when I highlight my dataset like this and hit enter, you can see all the 3 functions is actually giving me $150. That is actually the mod for this dataset. Now, watch what will happen. The price for room 3 is $70. If I decide to come to room 9 and instead of $35, I click on this cell, I change it to $70. That will make our dataset to have 2 mods now, $150 and then $70. Watch what will happen to our functions here if I hit enter. You can see for the mod function, it only got 150, that is the first mod in our dataset. Then mode.sngl also got only 150, which is the first mod on our dataset. But mode.mult actually is displaying for me even the $70 you can see from here. If again, for example, I have $65 here, if I come here and again change this one to $65, that will make our dataset to have 3 mods now. $65 will again be our next mod. So when I hit enter, you can see again the $65 is actually displayed down here by mode.mult. But for these 2 other functions, they are only picking $150, which is the first mod. So I'm going to control Z to undo that. Now this mode.mult function is actually an array function. So if I come here and hit the F2 key to put it in edit mode, for me I easily type enter and it works. That's because I'm using Office 365. But when you're not using Office 365, you need to enter it using Control Shift and enter. Then you need to check your formula bar to see the curly bracket being put at the beginning of your formula and then at the end of your formula to show that what you have done is actually an array operation. If you're not using Office 365 and you simply use enter, the function will not work well. You need to enter it using Control Shift and enter. Now let's scroll down and see our second example, which is this POP's Pocket Money example again. Now for this second example, we want to learn how we can actually display our mods vertically or across rows in a single cell, and also how we can display it horizontally or across columns. So let's click on this cell. We're going to use equals to mode.mult, of course, tap to select it. Then we simply need to highlight our values like this. Now I'm using Office 365. I'm simply going to hit enter and the result will spill down. Our dataset is having 2 mods and all of them is actually displayed across rows, as you can see. Now if you want to display all the mods in a single cell, you need to use another function called the text join function to join the mods together. Let me first show you how the text join function works. I'm going to click on this cell and do equals to text join. When I see it highlighted in blue, I'm going to hit tab to select it. Now the text join function is actually a text function. It is used to join text together. If you have text in multiple columns or in multiple rows, you can use the text join function to join them together in a single cell. It has 3 arguments. The delimiter, the ignore empty cell, and then now the text you want, that is text 1, text 2, text 3, like that. Now for the delimiter, you need to put it in quotes. So I'm going to open quotes. I'm going to use a comma. You can put any form of delimiter you want. You can use a space, semicolon, or any one you want. So I'm going to use comma, space. So my delimiter is going to be a comma and a space. So I'm going to close my quotation. When I hit comma, it will come to the second argument, which is ignore empty. It can be either ignore empty cells or you include the empty cells. So true for ignore empty cells and then false for include the empty cells. But I'm going to ignore the empty cells. So I'm going to hit tab to select true and then comma. You can see now it's saying text 1, text 2, text 3. That's now where you put the text you want to join together. Now, for example, if I highlight these 2 cells here, Jane and the price for Jane, which is $14, when I close my bracket and hit enter, you can see it has joined the Jane and the $14 in a single cell, separating them using comma. Now if I come here and hit the F2 key, if instead of highlighting horizontally, I simply come here and highlight these cells here. Now this one I'm now highlighting it across rows or vertically. When I hit enter, it still joins them into one cell using comma, as you can see. So that's actually how the text join function works. So I'm going to click on this cell. I'm going to drag it to this cell here. Now let's use the same trick to join the mods together. So I'm going to click on this cell. If I do equals to mode.mult, tap to select it, I'm simply going to highlight my cells like this. Right now, if I hit enter, you can see it's spilling down the mods in rows, but that's not what we want. We want all the mods to be in a single cell. So I'm going to click back on this cell, hit the F2 key to put it in edit mode. What will happen if we put the 2 mods inside the text join function? Those two modes will now act as our text. So I'm going to come at the beginning, click, and then do text join. I'm going to hit tab to select it. It first of all needs the delimiter. I'm going to put in quotes, open quotation, comma, space, close quotation. That is our delimiter. And then comma, we're going to ignore empty cell. So I'm going to hit tab to select ignore empty. And then comma. Now for the text, the entire results of the mod function, which is this one, will be our text. So I'm going to come at the end, close my bracket. Now when I control enter, you can see the mods is now being displayed in a single cell. Again, we want to see how we can actually display it horizontally or across columns. Here we were using mode.multiple function, escape, and it was actually displaying for us the results vertically or across rows. Now we are just going to transpose this so that it can be displayed across columns instead of being displayed across rows. Maybe before we do that, let me first show you how the transpose function works. I'm going to click on this cell and do equals to transposed. Tab to select it. It simply needs the array. Now for the transpose function, if I highlight the values which is across rows like this or the vertical values like this, I'm going to close my bracket. It will transpose it and display it across columns. When I hit enter, you can see instead of displaying it across rows, it's now being displayed across columns. Now if I come here and hit the F2 key, if instead of highlighting those values, I highlight these two values here, which is actually displayed across columns. If I hit the enter, you can see the transpose function is actually displaying it across rows instead of displaying it across columns. So that's how the transpose function works. So I'm going to click and drag it this side. Now we're going to use the same transpose function to transpose for us the results of the mode.multiple so that it can be displayed across columns. So I'm going to click on this cell, do equals to mode.multiple, tab to select it. I simply need to highlight my values like this. Now right now if I hit enter, it will be displayed across rows like this. But that's not what I want. I'm going to click on this cell, hit the F2 key to put it in edit mode. I simply need to put the results of the mode.multiple inside the transpose function. So I'm simply going to do transpose, tab to select it. The array is actually going to be the results of the mode.multiple. That's our mods. So I'm going to click here, close my bracket. When I hit enter, you can see instead of displaying it now across rows, it's now being displayed across columns. And this one is actually dynamic. Like for example, this is $14. If I decide to come to Elizabeth and change the pocket money to $14, this will make our dataset to have 3 mods. That $14 will also be among the mods. If I hit enter, you can see all the 3 methods is working very well. So that's actually how you can display the mods if your dataset is having more than 1 mod. Now let's scroll down and we see our last example. This is the HF company transaction data. This dataset is having no mod. Now let's see what the mod function will actually give us if the dataset is not having any mod. So I'm going to click on this cell and do equals to mode.multiple. Tab to select it. When I highlight the values like this, watch what will happen. If I hit enter, the function gives us NA. By the way, even if you use the mode.sngl and then you highlight your values like this, when you hit enter, it also results to NA error. The same applies to the mod function. Highlight your values like this. When you hit enter, so all the 3 functions results to NA error if your dataset is having no mod. Yeah, that is it for this video. Next video we're going to focus on how we can get the mod for categorical data. If you haven't subscribed, please do subscribe, and if you found this video interesting, give it a like, then you share it with your friends. This is a video where we talked about the measures of central tendency. You can click on it, watch, then you learn more about the mod in that video. Until next video, WWD 11, then we meet again. Thank you.